Hello, everybody. I know this webinar has started. Because of the number of people that are showing up today. It's in a webinar space. And so there is a Q&A button at the bottom that you can enter comments or questions that we'll try to address throughout this. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes because we still have a chunk of people that we're waiting to come in. So I'll just give them a couple minutes just to allow them to filter in. We are leaving time at the end. We have two students with us today, and hopefully a third will be joining us shortly, that they will be here to also answer questions. So we'll do our best. And oh, there's our third student. So let's just give it 1 second while we get a few extra people that are finally are logging in right now. Okay, let's see. All right. All right. Still some others coming in, but we will go ahead. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. And I do know, so I'm already seeing some questions in the Q&A area. Yes, this is recorded, and so then there is it'll be available for anyone to see because more than likely a lot of the dancers are in rehearsal or classes or something today because dancers dance all the time and they don't have time to, take a moment. So the recording will be available. And I think Megan is responding to that. Um, and if the general question, as far as the invite for the live auditions, I'll just say it up at the front, is that we are currently processing all of the applications that came in at the early action time. That was November 1st, with a few days grace to get the supplemental in. They are being all seen by multiple faculty, so it just takes a little bit of time. We are turning those over as quickly as we can, but not all decisions have been out. So if maybe your friend heard, but you haven't heard, don't panic. We are doing that as quickly as possible with the goal with all the early action, or most of them, to try to be out by the end of next week. There's just unfortunately only so many hours in the day, and we want to give everybody equal focus as we look at everybody's audition. And we're really excited about the amazing talent and all the potential students that can come to Chapman next year. So let's just jump right on in. I am Robin Kish. I kind of started talking and forgot to say who I am. I am Robin Kish. I am currently the chair of the dance department at Chapman. I have been here. This is my 20th year. And my specialty at Chapman in the dance department is dance medicine and science, health and wellness. I teach the anatomy and kinesiology courses, Pilates, as well as direct concerts and senior seminar, which is kind of our capstone, kind of the business of the dance world and preparing students in their final semester. So again, I've been here 20 years. I love this place. I love the students. And maybe I'll be here another 20 years, but I know I'm going to be here for as long as your students would be here. I'll have my three students that are here today just introduce themselves, say what year they are, major, minors, things that they're doing, and then we'll jump right on in. So, Gracie, you want to start?
Sure. Hi, my name is Gracie Dunn. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm a freshman dance major, and I'm looking to add a health science minor sometime in the future.
All right, Chloe.
Hi, sorry. I'm Chloe. I'm from Colorado, and I'm also a freshman dance major and undecided about a minor right now.
Carrington.
Hi, I'm Carrington. I'm a sophomore. I'm hoping to get my BFA, dance major, and I have a music technology minor, and then I just put on my entrepreneurship minor.
Yay. So these are some of our wonderful students that will be here for some of the Q&A. I'd like to jump into hopefully sharing my screen, and then we will continue. So hopefully my technology is going to like me today. Here we go. I'm going to start with share sound. Um, okay, here we go. Let's just start with this. All right, that was our dance tour from 2025. We always do a dance tour in January. They learn rep in the fall, and then they tour in different schools in the spring. So if you've seen that before, it's because we haven't hit 2026 yet, and we're going to work on that soon. Let me now jump into our full presentation. Oh, Zoom. Oh, sorry, I got to get past that. Here we go. All right, I'm going to close you guys. Sorry, I'm used to using Zoom as a presentation, but not Zoom in a webinar. So I'm sorry if I'm a little clunky. Okay. Whoops. All right, here we go. So welcome to Chapman University. This is our Department of Dance virtual tour. Again, please use the Q&A at any time to ask questions. And I'm sure if you have that question, somebody else also does. And we will try our best to answer all of them and get everyone kind of the clarity they need, because I know this process of applying for colleges is stressful both for the student and the parents. And so we want to help you as much as possible answer those questions. Here we go. So we are in the city of Orange. It has this great feel of this little Midwest college town in the middle of Orange County. In the background of the picture, you can see Angel Stadium, and a little farther out, you would see Disneyland. So we can kind of throw a rock at Disneyland if you weren't quite sure where we are. Some of our students work at Disneyland at the parades and enjoy working in the entertainment industry. Our building here is the Sunkist packing plant. That is where the Sandy Simon Center was kind kind of installed. So if you've ever had a sun-kissed orange, back in the day, this was one of the packing plants, but this is now part of our beautiful building that we love to be in. We've been in this building for about 2.5 years, and I think we're only now really starting to tap into its full potential, which is exciting. It has 2 or 3 floors. We kind of lovingly joke that we have to retire when we have to use the elevator, but the elevator is wonderful for students if there's an injury, also. So here is just another picture of our Sandy Simon. It's really nice because it's attached directly to the K, which is a residence hall, which is not a first-year dorm, but that's usually like sophomore juniors can put in to potentially stay in the K. And here is, as you first come in that door, the lobby of our building. The glass wall is our performance space, and we'll see some other pictures of that. And it's just a beautiful, light, open building. You actually can tell throughout the day if there's been a cloud that goes by, or if it's rainy, or the sun's up or the sun's down. Unlike most of our dance studios that we've grown up with, that sometimes you're not sure what time of day it is because you've been inside all day, but it's just really beautiful how it changes. This is inside the performing studio, and what's so great is this space can change dramatically depending on what we want it to look like. Here is Drew Gilua, who is one of our jazz faculty, and he tours with some of the dance conventions, and this was kind of a senior jazz class, but we have lighting in this space. So this is the same picture or same room as this, but a completely different vibe depending on how we want to set up the space. Here is also the space. You see the mirrors on the right side. Those mirrors go away, and when the mirrors go away, we have bleachers that come out. And so this space can turn into a complete black box theater, where we have hanging drapes, we have lights, there's a production booth, so we can do intimate performances here for audiences of about 90 audience members. And so it's a great space for students to workshop their choreography, to have guest artists in. Just walking in our space, again, the light. Downstairs, we have our faculty space as well as we go into our training room. This is our tap studio. It is specifically designed for tap and ballroom, and it's a really wonderful space for that. Here is our training room. Again, I said my specialty is dance medicine and science, and I'm very excited to have this space. We have reformers, the Cadillac, the chair, the barrels. Once a month, we have a sports medicine a doctor that comes to campus and does a wellness clinic. He's also our resource in the community. And so that we have those resources. Right now, we actually have PTs here that are doing post screenings for injury risk reduction for some of our dancers that have been dancing with Dwight Roden and Complexions. And in the spring, we'll be dancing a piece by Martha Graham that's being set by the Martha Graham Company. So we're very proactive about health and wellness. Even if a dancer comes into the program after they've had a surgery or they get injured here, we are all about finding ways to support a dancer throughout their career, knowing that injuries are a part of it, and allowing them to thrive at whatever level they're at the moment, and then hopefully getting them beyond the injury once and for all. Just some other pictures of our building. The wall there that you see, the wood paneling, that is all from the original floor of the packing plant. This building has won many awards for being focused on restoration, and part of it is taking all those planks that were on the original floor, and they went through every single one and found the best ones that they could repurpose, and they repurposed it on our walls. And just some other views of our building. If you come and do a live audition, We will meet all in the performance space downstairs, but your live audition will be in one of these studios that is on the second floor. And you will all go into either studio 1, 2, 3, or 4. They're all equally the same. There you can see in the windows. So those are the spaces. It's all Marley. Here's one of the studios that you would come in and do your audition in. The studios all have curtains. We can cover the mirrors. We have live accompanists for all of our major classes, as well as sound available. We have lots of spaces for students to hang out, do their homework, catch up with each other. Here is Dwight Roden teaching our 400 level ballet class. We are so honored to have him part as our faculty and bringing all of his years of experience with being the artistic director, co-artistic director of Complexions Ballet. And he is in New York and then he's here and he works with our students. And we're really excited for the growth our students have had because of his influence. Here's another one of our studios, a piano and a sound system. We can zoom into classes if we need to. Two of our faculty are going to be doing the College Spotlight with Steps on Broadway here in November, that you can check out Steps on Broadway, their Spotlight, and sign up with them. And then here's our upper floor. This is actually sits on top of the performance space. And we have 2 classrooms up here, as well as more student lounge places that students can, again, do homework, catch up. There's a kitchenette, there's a microwave, fridge. So lots of space for students to kind of explore and just decompress a little bit when they need to in between classes. All right, classrooms. We fondly call this classroom our Disney teacup room, because those chairs spin and they turn around, so they're kind of fun to be in. There's our Disney teacup. And then here's our other classroom. In the dance department, you have both the technique classes, but you also have the academic classes. And all of our academic classes for dance are held within our building, so you don't have to go out to another building. Everything's in-house. You're going out of Sandy Simon for your other academic things like math or psychology or other majors and minors. But if it's a dance academic class, we hold it here in one of these 2 classrooms. Then at Chapman, one thing that students are always excited about is all the performing opportunities, and we have many, and we have different venues. So this is one of our venues. It is the Musco Center for the Performing Arts, and our students get to perform in this space, both as dancers, and then they also get to showcase as seniors choreography in this space. And this is a picture from inside. It is a beautiful space. It's a state-of-an-art facility. It's amazing to perform on and just stand in this beautiful Musco Center. This is where our Musco Connect series is, our dance series. This fall we had Complexions Contemporary Ballet. In February, the Martha Graham Dance Company is coming they're in their anniversary season and they will be performing here with our students on stage. And then also Paul Taylor is coming in the spring. So we use this as a way to engage with artists and companies, as well as a venue for our students to perform their own works and work of faculty. We also have the Waltmart Theater, which is on main campus also, and this space is a more intimate setting, and it holds around 250 people in the audience, and this is where our students will also perform and produce their own choreography. So our degrees that are offered, we are unique. Many of you in this webinar you're looking right now at dance programs across the country. And probably a lot of you are looking at the BFA programs and kind of comparing them. At Chapman, we are unique in the sense that all students come in as BAs in dance, and partly is we want to give you time to figure out what are the other things that you're also interested in. And it may be the BFA is the primary track, but many of our students also decide that, yes, I want a BA, but I am also interested in health sciences or law or education or psychology. There's so many other things. Our students are very curious, they're smart, and they're excited about multiple things, wanting to dig very deep into dance and performance, but also potentially other options. So while everyone comes in as a BA in dance, this is ideal for students. It's 47 credits, so it allows students to have a lot more flexibility with their schedule to be a double major. At the spring of their sophomore year, they audition to become part of the BFA in dance program. And the difference, we talk about that with students, but the main difference is the amount of credits. You're investing more time deeper into the dance program versus having as more flexibility with other majors and minors. We do have students that can double major with a BFA, and I think one of the things I love about Chapman most is Chapman is about individualized education and you making your own path. You heard from all three of my students that they are all thinking of different things. And we really want each and every student to find their own path and not feel like they have to do something because somebody else in their cohort is doing it. And everyone comes in with different credits. They have different, goals and things that they want to do in their lives. So we figure this out together and which path is the path that's right for them. We also do have a dance minor. If you came to Chapman and maybe you come in as a business major or a psychology major or a history major, you can then in the spring of either your first year or your sophomore year apply for the dance major. In our majors, we have about 150 total dance majors and about 50 minors is about where our program is setting right now. We are a top tier program. NAS is our accrediting body from the National Association of Schools of Dance, and we are very proud of this. When I came in 20 years ago, I was part of the original faculty team that created our curriculum for our first accreditation. And I'm very proud to say that we just recently went through our reaccreditation, and we were just awarded the longest amount of time you can go without having to go through a reaccreditation, and that is a 10-year window. So we've got 10 years that NAST has recognized the quality, the depth, the value of the education that our dancers are receiving at Chapman. And the thing that also ties to this is that we are a very stable program. We know our roots. We know why we do what we do, and we also know we're not the perfect fit for everybody. But for the students that come to Chapman, we know what kind of education they're getting. It is not going to radically change. And I know there's a lot of that happening in many dance programs across the country. But while we're always forward thinking and adjusting and recognizing what's happening in the industry and the world beyond, we also know and stay true to who we are because we know the quality of Chapman student that graduates and their trajectory in the world. So it's something we're really proud of. It's a lot of work to get that reaccreditation, and to get it for 10 years is like the best we could accomplish. We've been named one of the best college dance programs by Dance US for 5 consecutive years, which we're very proud of also. Performances. I know dancers want to perform, and that is great. And we create a lot of opportunities for that. When you're looking at dance programs, one thing that our dance program is we are only undergraduate. We do not have graduate students in our program. So because of that, all of our energy, all of our focus goes towards our undergrads. Some dance programs out there, because they have graduate students, there's a little bit more emphasis potentially in the graduate students than the undergrads. But at Chapman, we were asked a number of years ago if we would add a graduate program, and all the faculty said no. And the reason why is we want to put all of our energy and focus on our undergrads. With that said, in the fall, we have 3 faculty-created concerts. One is specifically designed for first-year students to work with faculty and have an immediate performance opportunity. Then we have our fall faculty concert, which is faculty choreographed, and it's mostly juniors and seniors that are cast in that. And then we also have our Masters at Chapman, where the theme changes every year and we integrate with industry professionals, and that is mostly sophomore, juniors. There's a lot of reasons why who's in what, but we make sure these opportunities are available for our students. In the spring, we have 5 student choreographed concerts. So we're putting on anywhere from 80 to 100, it depends on the year, student choreographed concerts from sophomore, junior, and senior students. So if choreography is something that you are interested in as a student coming to Chapman, you have endless opportunities for that. The only thing that changes each year is which venue your piece may or may not be in, but you always have an opportunity to choreograph. Where other schools potentially you can submit and you're either accepted or not, and then if you're not, you don't get to choreograph. You're always allowed to choreograph. Again, it's just the venue that might be different because there's only so many bodies we can put in any given venue. You start auditioning your first year for activities. You can submit choreography proposals in your sophomore year. And then we also have additional performance opportunities through all of our amazing dance clubs. You can follow them, stalk them all on social media. I'm sure they'll love to get some more hits. And here are our current posters for the shows coming up. So the Bach in Motion, it's a live cellist. Our professor, Yoshi is playing the cello, and then all of the first years have been divided with different faculty choreographers, and they've created short 3 to 4 minute pieces that are all getting performed in our Fish Interfaith Center, which is just going to be an amazing performance for them. We have our fall faculty, which is performed in the Musco Center, so it's our faculty, and it's a wide range of from contemporary ballet to modern to musical theater jazz to more contemporary modern jazz. So a lot of different dynamic styles in our concert. And then here's our Masters at Chapman. This year, it is all about fashion. And the students learned a piece from Mark Morris's company that was restaged by Noah Vincent. We have Erica Klein, who's working in the industry, Ido Tadmore, who is an amazing human, and our presidential fellow, Julianne O'Brien, who was the chair and is now the associate dean, and also Ching Ching Wang, who choreographs all over the country and the world. And they're all creating pieces around this theme of fashion and dance. So these are shows that are coming up. If you're coming to one of our auditions, they are aligned with these shows also. So it's a great way to see the students on stage while you're coming in to also audition to attend Chapman. This is some pictures of some of our students. That's on the Musco stage. This was one of Julianne O'Brien's pieces last year that was also performed in the Laguna Dance Festival. So sometimes our faculty will take pieces and take them into other venues. Just going through some pictures. Wide range. As far as artists that we work with, again, Dwight Roden, full-time faculty here. He choreographs, he teaches. He's bringing his Neek technique, which is specific to the movement that he does with Complexions Ballet, and that is a codified technique to Chapman to teach our students how to actually teach that. We have Ido Tadmore, as I mentioned, who is an internationally known artist, and we're very lucky to have them. And then we constantly, every year, have different companies coming in. I think in the 2026-27 year, we're hoping to have Ballet X and Ballet BC here also, as well as some other companies. So it changes every year, but it's also a wide range of artists. I every year our dance clubs get bigger and better, and they just are a way to fill the cup for dancers in different ways. So this was our 2025 dance team that won first place title. We have Chapman Dance Alliance, which every incoming student is already automatically a part of that family. We have a tap ensemble. There's Team Shaka, which is more of a hip hop, as well as Floor 13. Stilettos, if you like yourself some heels, and you want to work in heels, Stilettos is there. We also have the Dance and Film Club, and a lot of our dancers do work on projects with the Dodge Film School. We also have Collab, which is more of a contemporary, and then there are other dance clubs on campus like Ballet Folklorico and others. So there is an entire world of dance clubs on campus, and also the Greek Life uses a lot of dances in both their air bands and their skit. So there's many ways that you can kind of tap into the different styles that you want while you're at Chapman. It's truly your own path. Our alumni, we love our alumni. I think we all recognize who this artist is. And the two dancers to her right their both names are Natalie, and they are both Chapman alum. So they are both Chapman alum that danced and went on tour with Taylor Swift. Our dancers are in the commercial industry, dancing with artists, working in industrials, being on film. That is one world. They're also doing the conventions and teaching in conventions, assisting in conventions, working on the administration, the business administration side of the whole convention, concert, or competition world. They also have we have dancers in modern and ballet companies, Perry Dance, LACDC, Bear Dance in New York. We have ones that are on cruise ships and have also not just been on cruise ships and cruise lines, but also have moved up in the industry. So they started as dancers and they were dance captains, and now they're on the talent management side of things. Broadway tours, we have currently a dancer touring with the Broadway national tour of Lion King, another one that's on the international tour of Wicked. So we have dancers that are on those tours. We have dancers that are in the Rockettes. One of the Natalies started with the Rockettes before she moved into the Taylor Swift tour. We also have the NBA and NFL cheerleaders and then many of them again start as working as the dancer, but because we train our dancers to be smart and they're multifaceted, many of them then move into other roles as choreographers, directors, artistic directors, company managers, PR and advertising. And so right now we have an alum that is working on the backside for the Laker girls. So well, she started as a Laker cheerleader, then she's moved into the administrative side. Also, many of our dancers are teaching and they're choreographing. We have wonderful alumni that have gone and opened dance studios all across the country that we love to connect with them. Adjacent to dance, physical therapy, marketing, again, teachers, arts administration, you name it, our dancers have found their paths. And that's, again, what I love about it is that there's no one right path. They're all going to find their path that's right for them, that really pulls all of their interests together. many of you are already in the application process now. Again, as I said at the top, if you weren't quite into the seminar yet, we are currently in all the pre-screened stage. So if you haven't heard yet, we're hoping you will hear by the end of this next week. If you've been invited for an audition, we have a very large number of applicants that we go through and look at every single one and read all of your materials, and then have to kind of select the group to come to the audition, and then we do the live in-person audition. The live in-person auditions are unlike other schools that might do where you come and take a ballet class and maybe you take a modern class and they cut during those classes. What we do is you come in and there's a warm-up class and no one's watching you. It's just to get you warm because, again, health safety is important to me, but also all the other faculty. And then you will go do your solo audition in front of a faculty member. They're all filmed so that everybody, all the full-time faculty, can see your video submission. And then we have a one-on-one conversation with you because we want to make sure that we're a good fit for you as much as you're a good fit for us. So we like to have a conversation with you after you do your solo audition. Summer intensives are a great way to check out Chapman and be kind of get a sense of the community and the building. We have Backhouse Dance Intensive, which is every summer, and Jacob's Pillow 360 Intensive. They have a summer one in August, but there's also one coming up in the spring. So if you need more information about that, there will be more information on our website to sign up for that. And then just to see a little quick day in a life, and then we have got a good chunk of time for questions. And I want the students to be able to share their experiences with you. So here's a little day in the life. Let's see if that comes up. All right, so versatile dancers, we value ballet, modern jazz equally. That's not something that we've just done in the last couple years, but again, I've been here 20 years. That was at our foundation of creating our identity of who we are. We value the students' academics and how those academics are going to serve them, not as a backup career, but more as a transitional part or another part of who they are as individuals. Because we know the life of a dancer is always changing, and so we want them to have multiple kind of tools in their toolbox that allows them to have a sustainable life and career post-college. We very much value professionalism, and we instill that in all of our activities. We look for valuable learning experiences, and in a moment, I'm going to ask Harrington to talk about her experience with complexions and working with Dwight. We have a deep foundation. We really know who we are and what we're trying and the type of Chapman dancer that goes out into the world. And we hear from our colleagues and alumni, people that have been in the industry for a long time, that if a Chapman dancer shows up in LA or New York or Atlanta or wherever, the people recognize that they are ready to work and they know how to work and they are ready to be professional in that space. Community is also very important to us. We have a very tight community. Even though there's 150 majors, we know them and we care about each and every one of them. And I think Sandy Simon, the center itself, is a testament to how much that the university supports us and supports the dance program, and that's not going away. So now we're going to switch into kind of looking at any questions. If you've got questions, please still put them in the Q&A box. And then I'm going to stop sharing so we can come back here. And can we start with Carrington? Can you just share a little bit about this most recent experience that you had with, and continuing, because it's not done yet, with Dwight?
Yes, so I took his point class when I was a freshman and then auditioned and then ended up getting into his piece for fall faculty, which is a performance that's right before masters, if I'm correct. And it's been pushing me very hard. Dwight has like a very specific, and I think Complexions itself has a very specific aesthetic that is needed in like movement quality. And I really enjoyed taking his point class because I feel like it prepped me very well for like for example, like at the bar, like it's not so fixed, it's very breathy, and he kind of wants to see that your personal like self in your dancing. And so he really pushes for that in rehearsal. Um, Also working like around Complexions and when they were here for their residency, just like seeing their work ethic, seeing them in class, like seeing them in their day to day was also very inspiring. And I think one of my favorite parts was when we were about to go on stage because we opened for their show. Just like seeing them all get ready for the show, like they're first off just all so tall and gorgeous, and like their muscles are crazy. Like we were all just like staring as we were warming up with them, but they're just so focused, but they're also like really sweet people. And it was actually nice to connect with people who are constantly like in a company setting, especially because I know that's what I want to do and a lot of people who are also in his piece want to do. So just a lot of opportunity there. Also, like it was a great connection to build with Dwight, and he's also like always open to talk to you in his office. I like go down there sometimes, and I just if I ever need a question or if I ever just like want to say hey. So he's very sweet, but also understanding the difference between like that and then his how he works in a rehearsal setting is really like good to see.
Hey, thanks, Carrington. There've been a couple questions. I'm just kind of looking through the Q&A about contemporary. And contemporary is one of those questions like, what is contemporary? So when we say ballet, modern, jazz, you could have a jazz class that's more contemporary. You could have a modern class that's more contemporary. There's a lot of fusion happening. Like right now, Azuki Umeda is teaching under kind of the jazz category, but I'd say Azuki is more of a contemporary teacher and choreographer. So there's the wide range. What we don't do necessarily is just teach like Horton technique or just teach a certain style of ballet. The idea is that our classes and the mix of faculty we bring in to teach the different levels is giving students multiple viewpoints, to be able to be a versatile artist, to jump into any kind of style of movement. I don't know, ladies, if anyone wants to talk about that contemporary question. Okay, Karen, you can go ahead if you want to.
I feel like as for contemporary, like the I know collab, like if you get into that club, like that's kind of something that you will have on the outside. But as for like within the department, I feel like honestly our modern like is mixed in a little bit with contemporary. Like I feel like it is. It could not be that for other people, but I think that it has that like flowy sense, but you're still like having this like structure of like a normal modern class. So I feel like it's kind of merging. Also, if you take like Dwight's point class or take his class in general, that's also a bit of contemporary. I also think it's what you make of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, other two, do you guys have anything you want to add? They're first years, so they haven't quite got through the, if I had a senior here, we have two faculty members that dance with Batsheva, and they bring that whole world into the movement. Plus, we have an amazing hip hop teacher and that commercial style. Drew, that I showed in the picture, that was teaching one of the jazz classes, but he comes from that like more commercial industry. So again, we're looking for a versatile. There's no cookie cutter as far as our classes that we offer, and there's no cookie cutter in the dancers that we're trying to create at the end. Everyone's going to find their the aspect of what they want, and I do agree. It's kind of how you define that, because when you come into audition and you say we're going to ask you like, what style are you showing us, and I'll get, it's contemporary modern, or it's contemporary jazz, or it's contemporary. And I go, okay, because I'm not quite sure what that's going to be until I see how you define that. So, and that's part of it, is you getting to divine that voice for yourself on what that looks like, whether it's contemporary ballet. That's more like the Dwight, but then you can also take a little bit more traditional, if you want to call it traditional ballet. So there's that wide range there. Okay. How about our two first years? You want to kind of talk, usually a typical questions like a day in a life of a first year, like, and maybe talk a little bit of the difference between your CDA experience and the Bach Emotion experience.
Um, I'll start. So I right now on Mondays and Wednesdays I have modern and jazz. Those are my two core classes, dance wise on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then still within the dance program, but more of an academic feeling class. We have our intro to dance studies, and so we talk a lot about like the history of dance, and we go through the different styles, and that's also within the Sandy Simon building, and there's like full classrooms in there too. So I spend a good amount of my day there. I do start off the day with 8 a.m. Spanish before dance, but then the rest of my day is dance, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays I have ballet in the mornings, and then I go do academic classes on main campus, and then Pilates at like 4 p.m. And Friday is just my academic classes. But before CDA, which was our student choreographed show that we just had, we would all have rehearsals in the night or on the weekends, and it would vary. And um, and so yeah, the performance for that piece was very more commercial, and so now we're getting into our more concert piece for our first year Bach performance, which, as Robin mentioned, is with a live cello. So we've just been having rehearsals and getting the flow of working with live music. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I have much to add because we have pretty similar schedules, especially with all of the dance classes and then like GEs on top of that. But I'd say like the CDA show, definitely more commercial based. Like that's where you're gonna get like a lot of your like commercial like fix, I guess, especially as like a first year because you're not taking as many classes as like a BFA. Um, so like that was a super cool experience. And then also like the Bach and motion performance, they haven't done that before, so this is like a whole new experience for us and like kind of for everyone. So we're super excited about that. And those rehearsals we've kind of had like throughout the year, or throughout the first semester. But our show's next week, so super exciting.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to see if Okay, so I'm going to touch on a couple of the audition live questions that are here. For the lives audition, when you come in, some of the questions are about like, what are we looking for, or should you do a different solo than what you submitted? At the end of the day, we want you to feel confident in what you're showing us. It should be dynamic. So if you feel like the solo that you put on your pre-screen is the best showcase of you and you feel really strong and confident about it, use that. If you have something else that maybe you were scrambling at the end to get a pre-screen video in, but you have something else that you'd like to use, then feel free to do that. It is completely up to you. We want you to come in the room and feel confident about what you're sharing. As far as what we're looking for, if you come in and you just give us a tap solo or a hip hop solo, and that's all, we might ask you to do some developes or something else because we're not seeing all the elements of a kind of a well-rounded holistic dancer. If you are only coming in like you want to do something in point and it's like a Paquita variation, I want to know that you can get into the floor like a contemporary or a modern dancer. So just look at your solos and make sure that they're dynamic. Now, if you really want to do, you want to highlight your tap or your hip hop or a specialty that you have, as well as more of maybe a contemporary or it could be a jazz and Laducas, something else, you can do two shorter ones as long as we're not getting over kind of, it's still around that 2-minute mark. So if you want to do two shorter segments, that's fine. But we just want to see you move. We want to see levels. We want to see range of motion. However, I'm the last one that cares if you can get your leg past your head. I want to know that your hips are healthy and safe. But we want to just see your general technique as well as your dynamics and movement. Musicality is important. But come in feeling confident. Because if you come in and you're like, this is who I am and this is what I want to show you, that's going to showcase you the best. And all three of these lovely ladies did their own version of themselves, and that was what was important. So hopefully that answers the kind of live audition question. Do you guys want to add anything to that? Like thoughts? No, I don't have any thoughts. I must have hit it. Okay. Um, all the early action priority, we're going through those. Those will have priority for callbacks before regular admission did. If again, if there was a difference between when you submitted early action and when you got your supplemental in, there is a grace period there. So again, we're working through all of those things right now. Does all the faculty view? Um, in the pre-screen, they're divided between the full-time faculty, and then I view all of them. So there are at least 2 eyes, sometimes 3 eyes on every pre-screen video that comes in. And then also, it's not just the pre-screen, but admissions does their own component because there is basic admission levels for Chapman also. So your pre-screen is getting seen in multiple different venues. And then when you come in and do your live audition, yes, there's one faculty member in the room, but that's why we film it. And we keep all of those. And then we go into faculty meetings and we look at all of them. So there are many eyes that are seeing your solo. So and I'd say we're all very much on the same page when we're looking at things. There's very rarely a difference in where we would rate a potential Chapman student. Trying to think. Um, Sorry, there's questions that I'm trying to cover. There's been some questions. Carrington, did you do the collaboration with COPA last year in interterm? Did you do the COPA collaboration class? No. Okay. So there have been some questions about intersect between like theater or Dodge, music even. COPA, the College of Performing Arts, is made up of music, theater, and dance. We do try to create opportunities for an intersect between those. Last year, one of our dance majors went and choreographed for their musical, something about a cyclone. Rise of the Cyclone. I'm not quite sure, but it was about a cyclone. And so she choreographed for that. So there's different ways. We had a COPA collaboration class last year that it was music, theater, and dance majors that came together and created an very interesting interaction. So there are those opportunities. They interact through clubs also. So the students find ways. Last year in our a couple of our concerts, some of our choreographers, student choreographers, had reached out to music, technology, composition students, and had students create music for them for their pieces. So those collaborations happen also with Dodge. Again, those things are happening. A lot of it is organic, where students kind of find those opportunities to connect. Okay. Um, and again, we're continuing to do that. You will be busy as a dance major, and you'll only get busier, right, over your 4 years while you're here. There is an option for auditions to be virtual. We've kept that even now that COVID virtual land is done, in also to make it equitable for people trying to help with like travel, because sometimes you can't travel to all the schools that you'd like to travel to do a live audition. We do a virtual audition that is in, I think the date's in February. All of those things you can go to COPA admissions, and they will help you know when all of those things are available. And we look at those equally as somebody that is live in person. Um, let's see. I think in this webinar, I can keep answering these questions. And so let's see, Carrington, Chloe Noel, and Gracie, anything that you want to, if you were here, our first years were here in this spot of all these prospective students last year, what is a piece of advice you can give them? And also Carrington, like what would have helped you just kind of do what you needed to do?
I think for me, especially in the in-person audition, you just really have to bring yourself and not kind of like put yourself out there as someone that you're not, because the faculty is really looking to see you to see if you're a good fit and not like an act that you're putting on, if that makes sense. You really just want to be your true self in your dancing and also when they're asking you questions during your audition as well.
Yeah, I think with that, I know I was super stressed about this interview, which is like the second portion of the audition, but it really was just a conversation, and you are just finding out what the teachers are like just as much as they're finding out about you. And so it's a really cool opportunity because not a lot of schools, at least that I auditioned for, you had the chance to have a one-on-one conversation, because I would call it a conversation more than even an interview. Like it was just a very friendly, like it felt scary going into it, but I walked out of that feeling really good about how they run this program, and just that it feels very personal in the way that the audition, you do your solo and then you just have a short little conversation with them. And so I think that going into that, knowing that they just want to see you and they want to see unique abilities in everybody and not just the same like copy and paste, and that they care about you and your background. So I think that that's something to think about, is that it's just really about finding out about the fit for you as much as for them.
The exact same thing. Just bring your true self. Don't try and like fit into a box. Don't worry so much about, oh, am I going to perform the solo? Like, I know I was stressing about that. Like, which solo do I do? And I think I was in the room and I was like, actually, I'm going to do this other one. And I just did it. Like, just kind of, I think, come in with the solo that you want to do, be proud of it, be grateful for it, and just like fully show yourself. Also, I think what helped me, I actually wasn't as stressed because I did the 360 Jacob Pillow intensive at Chapman prior. So I kind of already felt comfortable. So stress levels weren't as high for me, but also I would just say like when you're in the warm-up room, like it's okay, no one's watching you. Like you can just actually warm up. It's not really for that's not the audition part because I was trying to show how flexible and it just was really unnecessary. So that's really for your body to warm up. Also, like talk to other people. I had friends from like my high school auditioning with me. So we were like trying to like talk to other people, get to know. And like now, like some of them go to USC and I follow them and we like talk, hang out. So it's just also a way for you to build connections. I think talking for me makes me feel less stressed because it feels more like Chloe was saying, a conversation. And yeah, the faculty is really sweet, really nice. And they also want to get to know you as well. So I think just having that door open and having an open mind would be my best tip.
I know we're kind of at time, but I do want to address one thing that I just saw. So I am trying so hard to like scroll through the Q&A here. There was a question about like commercial track. I know there are programs that as you're looking out there that there are programs that are we have a concert track or a commercial track. You're either a ballet dancer or a modern dancer, like that the departments track you in certain ways. We don't believe in that. We believe in giving you all of these opportunities, and as you move through the program, you can start specializing a little bit more or taking a little bit more. Some of our jazz teachers are more like Broadway. Stephen Sophia had a huge Broadway career and has performed with all of the major Broadway people, and so his jazz class is much more that Broadway commercial style. So you can take extra classes or more focused classes in directions, but especially in the BFA, we want you to figure out who you are as an artist. And if that is a concert dancer, if that's a commercial dancer, if that's an NBA dancer, if that's a I want to be able to do everything dancer, then that's great. Versus us prescribing you a track and putting you in a box. We just, again, foundation of knowing who we are and the dancers that are working, because our dancers work in the industry, whatever industry you want to define that as. It's really about giving them options to be versatile in that. And we have good relationships with talent agents. We bring in Block, Go To Talent, um, MSA. I can't remember them all right now, but we do bring in talent agents in the spring, especially spring of your senior year. BAs and BFAs all take senior seminar together where they're learning some business, they're learning about contracts, they're learning about some of those things, at least getting them their feet wet and understanding what they need to know. But those we bring in the talent agents, we bring in professional artists in all walks of life at various stages of their career also. The ones that are just out, that have been kind of in the world and are just making a name for themselves, as well as the ones that have been out for 5, 10, 15 years, because it shows the longevity and how careers shift and change. And then the BFA students will go in and take a class with them, with the talent agents. BAs and BFAs are able to go in and do like what the talent agents say are mock auditions, which they are, but a lot of times it's where you can get your face in front of a talent agent and then you follow up with your reel and your self tapes and with everything to be like, hey, remember we met, we had a conversation at Chapman. And so we introduce and create the network. We have something that we beautifully call, and I'll end it on this, that we call our Chapman Mafia. And I have a list of over 400 students. Again, if I'm that old, I got that many students that I can reach out to, alumni that are working in various different walks of life in different regions, international, all sorts of things that if Carrington comes to me and says, I want to be in this city, in this type of job, in this type of work, I can connect some dots for her to then take off and start making those networks. So we do spend a lot of time doing that. We don't funnel you directly to a singular company or a singular route because one, that's not who we are, and that's not the type of student that we're trying to create. We want you to come to us and say, this is what I'm excited about. I want to open a dance studio. I want to work with special needs kids. I want to be a PT that works with dancers. Whatever it might be, I want to dance with Taylor Swift, right? And go on tour. Then we're going to connect and create your pathway for you to help those dreams come true. And also, you don't know what you don't know yet. So when you come in, you think you know one thing, and then we're going to expose you to a whole bunch of other stuff, which is the world of dance. And who knows where you're going to be in 5, 10, 15 years from now. And it's exciting for me seeing generations now of dancers and seeing all the different places that they go that sometimes they didn't even expect that's where they were going to be. And then they have found their passion in something. So that's kind of that's who we are. And that's what we're going to bring to the table. And that's what we help with these students. So we're at time. I want to thank you all for being here. You can reach out to me directly, kish@chapman.edu. I'm more than happy to answer questions. Again, we are in the heavy pre-screen review season right now, and we are turning those around as quickly as we can. And we look forward to seeing you at one of our concerts, as well as here, hopefully for an audition. All right. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. We thank you all, and I will continue to try to answer things in the Q&A. All right. Thanks. Bye.